Hello. Today is day 51, and it's the middle of December, and there are tons of celebrations that are just about to begin, some that have already begun. And no matter what your faith is, it is the perfect season to celebrate. So that is today's intention is to celebrate. So let's get started. Hello. Since day 51 falls in the middle of December, making it about celebration seemed to be perfect. So our intentions instead of resolutions yoga for the year is starting to wind down, but I thought it would be fun if we did a swift flow that would help us focus on lightness and being happy as part of a celebration theme. So what we're going to do is start in a standing position at the front of our mat. So whichever side you consider being your front of the mat, go to that end. And we're going to start in mountain position. So have your feet about hip width apart, really dig into your mat with your feet, and then push them out as if you're trying to rip your mat in half. Then suck your navel to your spine. Have your hands at your side with your palms facing forward. Imagine that if a strong wind swept through the room at this very moment, that you are so strong in your stance that it would not knock you over. That would be the perfect mountain pose. Now we're going to sweep our hands down to come up to volcano pose, then sweeping arms down and into a forward fold. Now we want to have a generous bend in our knees. Then we're going to breathe in as we rise up halfway. Make sure you have plenty of space between your shoulders and your ears. Have your hands just below your knees and look forward. Then lower to that forward fold as you breathe out, and breathe in as you sweep your hands up and overhead. Bring your hands together in prayer position. And we're going to sweep our hands down to come up and go immediately to that forward fold. Then breathe in as we rise up halfway and out as we lower. Now we want to place our hands on the mat and step back with the right foot, then the left foot into a plank position. Then we're going to lower slowly halfway, shift to the top of our feet and back up to an up dog. Then we're going to breathe out as we sweep our hips high and back, down dog. Now we're going to step up to the head of our mat, feet still hip width apart, rise up halfway, looking forward, lower as you breathe out, and then sweep your arms up and overhead and bring them together in prayer position one last time. Now, we're going to place our hands on the mat and step back to a plank pose just for a second. Then we're going to lower our knees to the mat. We're going to be in a table position, so make sure that your knees are just below your hips and your hands are just below your shoulders. And what we're going to do is we're going to raise our right foot to the sky, point our toes, then reach forward with our left hand as if we're about to shake someone's hand. digging into that left foot to help us maintain our balance. Then sweep that left arm back, grab your toes, push your foot into your hand, and pull your foot with your hand. Then we're going to release and do the same thing on the other side. So really root into that right foot. When we lift that left leg to the sky, toes pointed, right arm forward, and then reach back and around and grab those toes and push. And we should get a good opening in our heart space and a really good stretch in our quads. Then release that. Now we're going to scoot back a little bit on the mat and step forward with that left foot. We're going to be going into a crescent lunge. So even when we're this low to the floor, it might be a little challenging to maintain your balance when you sweep your arms up. So make sure you're squeezing your thighs towards the center line. That helps us to maintain our balance. And we're going to lift our hands to the sky, crescent lunge. Now lower your hands and then curl your back toes under and come up to your, or to where your right foot is flat on your mat, but your toes should be pointed off to an angle. And we're going to lift up with our hands in the air. Our hips should be facing the front. We should have a deep bend in that front knee. So we're in warrior one. And without missing a beat, take a deep breath in and cartwheel that right arm back so that we're in warrior two. You might want to get a wider stance. Now, when we're in warrior two, you really want to imagine that you're trying to reach beyond your fingertips. That should help to engage the muscles in your arms. Then we're going to straighten that leg and bend it. Breathe in as you straighten and breathe out as you lower. Breathe in as you straighten and breathe out as you bend that knee. Now this time we're going to straighten that knee, swing that left foot so that we're in a wide-legged stance. Then we're going to sweep our arms up to the sky for star pose. Now turn both toes out. That gives us a wider stance and really reach for the sky, off to the right and off to the left. And then lower your hands and place them at your waist. We're going to go into wide-legged forward fold, but we want to turn our feet in first. So if you notice, we've gotten wider stance and wider stance as we've gone. So that's a good point in the moves that we've done and the flow that we've done. Now we're going to go into that forward fold. What we want to do is hinge at our hips. We don't want our back to bend too early. And then we're going to go down as far as we can. Then place your hands on the mat in line with the arches of your feet and reach towards the mat with the crown of your head. We're going to take a deep breath in and out. Then place your hands back on your waist and from center, allow this motion to come from center. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. We're going to rise back up. Now we're going to go back into that wide-legged forward fold again, but this time we're going to be shifting towards, we're going to do the same little warrior sequence on the other side. So lower your hands to the mat and then walk them to your right and turn your right foot out. Shift that left foot. Bring your right foot in if you need to. Lower that left knee. Place the top of your left foot on the mat and sweep your arms up, back to crescent lunge on the other side. Now we're going to lower our hands, curl our back toes under. Make sure that the sole of your left foot is firmly on the mat and that your toes are pointed off at an angle. Then we're going to rise up to our warrior one. Talking sometimes, if I'm not focusing out in front of me, it'll make me start to lose my balance. So truly, if you lose your balance, just come right back in. Now make sure that your hips actually take your hands and shift them to where they're pointed forward. You'll still have one hip that's slightly forward of the other, but you should be facing entirely in front. And hands up in the air for a warrior one. Then sweep that left arm up and overhead. Get a wider stance if you feel you need it. Warrior two. And again, you really, really want to imagine that you're reaching out beyond your fingertips. Then we're going to breathe in as we straighten that leg and breathe out as we lower. Breathe in as we straighten. Breathe out as we lower. Breathe in and out. One last time, breathe in and out. Now we're going to straighten that leg, turn the right foot in, and now we're not going to mess with star pose on this side. We're really just going to stand here for a few moments in this wide-legged stance. Close our eyes and say to yourself, I am strong. I am happy, and it's time to celebrate. Now let's bring our feet together, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. And that's going to be it for today. So we started the practice in a standing position. We're ending our practice in a standing position. If you are about to go to bed, really feel free to just lie down in Shavasana for a little bit, just to be able to let the energy that we've created soak in so that you can calm down enough to go to sleep. But otherwise, go off and have a wonderful day, and I hope you find reasons to celebrate until the end of the year, not just next week, but throughout the entire year. So I'll see you again next time. We have one more practice left in this challenge, and I'll see you then. Bye.